I'm not even going to clap. I don't think we
Pickle,
need to.
fuzz, potato. Remember, we're going to run with the potato thing because Lillian thought it was hilarious. Hey, everybody, welcome back to Old Friends, New Problems. I'm David,
I'm Dale.
and today we are going to talk about something that is near and dear to my buddy Dale here's heart. We have a problem, and what is that problem, Dale?
Well, the problem is that the powers that be at Sony have decided that they want to get rid of physical discs. That's a problem. It's a major problem.
Why is that a problem, Dale?
I mean, besides the obvious, I understand. Okay, so there's the limitation of the physical disc, right? You can't fit an entire game on a physical disc anymore, I don't think. I'm no mathematician, but I just don't think it happens. So my problem isn't so much that everything has to be digital or everything has to be physical. I think that there's a good middle ground, but the main problem I'm finding with it is what happened recently, and I'm pretty sure it was with Sony as well, where they lost, I guess, a contract or something with some movie studio or production house, and so, however many, over 100, I think, movies got gone from people's accounts because they didn't have physical discs. They just had digital copies of these movies, and so they're gone. And while we're talking in the scope of video games, the sentiment is identical. It's the same. So what's going to invariably happen is let's just take one of the ones that we play fairly regularly, Gran Turismo 7, right? So it's already an always online game. So if you don't have a Wi-Fi connection, you can't play the full game. You can only play like the arcade mode.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a bummer. But, at least there's still a playable game there. But who's to say that maybe 3 generations of the game later, Gran Turismo 10 comes out, and they're like, sorry if you had 7, but you no longer own it. It's gone.
Yeah.
There's a very, very famous now for gamers video, and I forget who the streamer was, but there was a couple of streamers who were like, before the Crew, the game The Crew, got taken the servers down, because it was a server only game. You couldn't play it without being on a server. And I'm pretty sure that was an Xbox title, if I'm not mistaken. And so, they're driving around. They're like, hey, we're going to drive around until the servers go down. And the servers were supposed to go down, I think, at like midnight that night. And so he and his friends get on, and they're just cruising around. And all of a sudden, you see his car take a jump, and the game just freezes. And it's like, that's it. Game's over. No more game.
Yeah.
And I think you and I are kind of in a unique position because, see, we grew up in the era of,
So really, all video games in existence have been in our lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
When did Atari come out?
So
that was the first one, right?
So the first console came out before we were born, but not by a whole lot.
Yeah. Which I think most people kind of consider the start of
Yeah.
real video games.
Yeah, the Atari was definitely the first game console that you think of when you think of a game console.
But Nintendo was pretty much
the NES came out when we were born, or shortly there before.
Yeah.
It was right around the same time. So
Duck Hunt, baby.
yeah, that little dog,
We don't shoot dogs. We like dogs.
that little potato.
Potato. Yeah.
So, we grew up in a unique position where we had games all of our lives.
Yes.
And up to a certain point, everything was always physical.
You had a physical copy.
Those who are old school, you had to.
Oh yeah.
And then,
these youngins don't know anything about that.
No.
Popping it on your hip, trying to get it to work, so you put the cartridge in, and then you had to stand on one leg, rub your tummy, sing "I'm a Little Teapot," and maybe that cartridge would work in there.
I remember I had a copy of, I think it was Sonic and Tails for the Genesis, and you had to pinch the disc while you put it in, and if you didn't
Yep.
pinch it while you were putting it into the slot, it wouldn't play.
Man, there was a system, and there were multiple, and your buddies would be like, "Man, come on, just let's play a different game." You're like, "No, let me try one more thing," and you just
And for those who may or may not know, David and I, we spent an insane amount of time together in our youth, as youths, playing games. Famously, one of our favorites was Need for Speed. Hot Pursuit was my favorite.
Test Drive.
Test Drive was another one.
Test Drive Off Road.
Yeah.
So, a bunch of old school games. But yeah, I wanna go back to that because I agree completely, and I wouldn't consider myself anywhere near like the gamer that you are and a lot of other people are. For me, it's more of I've got some free time to kill, and I'm gonna hop on and just play a game for a little bit. And but there's a downside to everything going digital, and I feel like in our quest to make everything more and more advanced, there's actually a lot of flaws in it and a lot of downsides to it. So like you said, you buy this, and the cost of video games are kind of insane now, but
I just spent $100 to pre-order Grand Theft Auto 6.
Yeah. So $100 for a digital copy of a game, and physically you have nothing to show for it. I mean, how many times has Sony's PlayStation Network been hacked or had major data breaches or people just lost all their stuff? I mean, it's good to have the disc as a backup. If you have an issue like that, or say your system just totally tanks on you, and I don't know, there's a lot of different scenarios, but to be able to just put another disc in, download it onto your system from the disc, and have your game, that's the way it should be. I mean, you're spending your money to buy it, and I kind of feel like you should have a physical copy. But it's just, what's going to happen to movies? I mean, are you going to be able to buy DVDs anymore of movies? I mean, most of these cars don't even have CD players in them anymore.
Well, now, and let me ask you this, as a kind of a, playing devil's advocate for those who are like, well, you technically own it. Okay, fair play. So let's just take something random, for instance. Let's say that I bought Sleep Theory's new album, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then let's just say, for instance, which I do have a physical copy of. It's on my wall with a signed poster and everything. But let's just say that I buy a digital copy of whatever their next album is, right? Because they're going to get rid of the discs. They're just going to make it a digital only download kind of thing. Cool. So if I were to go and, in current terms, pirate the songs or the album, technically speaking, it's no longer stealing because I've already bought it. Technically, I own that song. Where does ownership end, and where does digital theft begin? Like, where's the middle ground? Because I mean, obviously pirating music back in the day was big, thanks to like things like Napster, Kazaa, LimeWire, all that. We're old enough, some of the younger folks are going to go, huh? What is all that?
What's Kazaa?
It destroyed family computers.
It was great.
Basically, just take a piece of TNT, stick it on your family computer, and
that'll do it.
That was Kazaa.
It. No, but I mean, think of it this way as well. If you only have digital material, it's very easy to be distributed, stolen, distributed, multiplied, and just given out like crazy. This is hurting the artists, and I mean, we've all seen the numbers that Hollywood movies are putting out here lately. They're pathetic. We've seen the difference between bands and the money that they used to make off of CDs.
Oh, merch was everything.
I mean, and it's gone now. So now you're relying on touring, which is exhausting, and shirts and stuff like that, but you've lost that whole revenue stream for the artist. And as a musician who's been in a band and has had demo CDs and stuff like that, do you know the benefit to being able to go to some local shows and stuff like that and hand out your demo to people to generate a following? I mean, and that's gone.
Yeah.
So these artists are struggling now because we've gone everything's gone digital, and I personally don't like it.
It's funny that you say that too, because one of my fondest, I say fondest memories, but something that I'll always remember happened was, I don't even know if he still is making music at this point, but do you know Bubba Sparks?
Yeah. I've heard of him.
So I was in Athens when I was I would have been middle school. No, yeah, middle school age. I was probably 7th or 8th grade, and thereabouts. And I was with my buddy Zach, and his dad was really big into bicycle racing and stuff like that. So we went to a race that was going through Athens, and he and I, 7, 8-year-old kid, we're just walking around Athens, or we're watching this race, and Bubba Sparks comes up out of a backpack, says, "Hey, you want my demo?" He hands me a
check
demo.
out my demo.
It's a demo tape.
Yeah.
A cassette tape. Cassette tape is like pre-CDs. And I still have it. It's actually in my office at the house. And it's something I'll never give up because I love the story that was attached to it. But like, what are you going to do now? Be like, hey, scan this.
Scan this QR code. Well, I don't want to scan a QR code. How do I know you're not hacking into my stuff?
And that's the other thing you're going to run into too, is like the digital age is dangerous because of all of the ways people can steal your data and steal your information. And
well, look at so Sony, we've gone away from discs, and all of our games are digital now. Okay, that's fine and dandy, but I'm tying my credit card to your system. You've been hacked before. I mean, if I recall correctly, Sony had to pay out a lot of money.
Yeah.
From being hacked and losing everybody's credit card information.
I don't think it was billions, but it was
way up there.
Pretty close, if not.
And, why should I feel secure about doing that again when there's a good possibility that you're gonna get hacked again? I mean, it happens. It's just this day and age type thing.
Yeah.
But what's funny is, there's a band that I follow called 12 Stones. And it's a Christian rock band. And I remember finding they had a 3-song demo, and me and my buddy were riding around in his car, and he had a copy of the demo from when he went to a concert and got the free demo with 3 songs on it. Mm-hmm. He hadn't listened to it or anything, and I wound up putting it in one day, and we started listening to it. We're like, man, this is great. That was like 25 years ago. I still follow that band. They just released new material a couple of days ago, actually. And, for those of you who don't know who 12 Stones is, the lead singer of 12 Stones is the guy who sang on Evanescence's song "Bring Me to Life."
Oh,
he did the male vocals on that song, which everybody knows that song, but that's Paul McCoy from 12 Stones.
Huh.
So when everyone was like, man, who's this guy singing in Evanescence? I'm like, I know who that is. That's a guy from a rock band that I know, and I got his demo. So, but that's gone now.
Yeah.
It's gone, and it's really, really unfortunate. I think Sony needs to, I know they're not going to rethink it because they're this massive industry, and they really don't care. It's all about the maximum profit, and unfortunately it costs money to manufacture and produce CDs and distribute them. And think about it even deeper than that. Do you remember walking into CD stores
Oh yeah,
to buy music?
yeah.
I mean, Best Buy,
CD
and
Warehouse was
CD
one of my
Warehouse.
favorites.
What was it? Media Play,
Uh huh.
Hi-Fi Buys, and stuff like that.
Sam Goody.
You know, even Walmart, which I think you can still get CDs at Walmart. There's
think-
not a ton, but
So that brings up another thing that I didn't even think about prior to this conversation is, I mean, I went to Walmart just the other day to pick up something.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know. I try. No offense to Walmart, but I just try not to go there. But I had to go to Walmart to pick up an item, and I remember going through the electronics section, and there still were just tons of game stuff, and I'm like, that's going away. I mean, now
go
Sony
away.
is currently, I think, as of this recording, which today is the 15th of July, so don't quote me if it changes before this comes out. But I think Sony currently is the only one that's saying they're doing this, and it's by what, 2028? I think you said.
yes,
Thanks what you-
January of 28.
It's just so we get our facts together, and so I mean, I'm sure other companies are eyeing this, going, are we going to do this? Should we do this?
Yeah.
Maybe we should. Maybe we shouldn't. And I'm hoping that Sony gets kind of smacked in the mouth by this. I hope that it
Yeah.
backfires horribly. But you
I mean,
know,
think of the jobs lost. I mean,
yeah,
and granted, a lot of those jobs may not be in the United States, but I mean, they're still jobs nonetheless of, people who are making CDs and making these, the artwork for the game covers, the actual printers that are making the sleeves to go in these plastic cases and everything. That's all going to be gone.
yeah.
Any CD store that may still be around, where you can go and purchase actual physical copies of music, with time, that will phase out as well. And it's like, it's just, I firmly believe that in our quest to make everything more advanced, in a lot of ways, we mess it up. And sometimes it's best to just kind of take a step back and, because to this day, if you talk to someone about music, what does everybody say is the best quality sound format that you can get for music?
I mean,
Records.
yeah.
Old school records. They say that is where you get the best, most natural sound. Well, that was how long ago? I mean, you're talking, we went records, 8 tracks, cassette tapes, CDs, MP3s. Now, and the downside with these digital copies, is, at least in music, is it's all so compressed.
Now I wonder too, though, because a lot of music, as we just discussed with our special guest Casey on board, a lot of music is going very, very digitized and
Yeah.
digital sounds, and it's not really real instruments. So I wonder if a lot of the newer stuff, like the newer music that's coming out, that's digitized or digital sounding or whatever, EDM, whatever they might be. I wonder if it almost becomes indiscernible from what it would sound like on a CD or a
Yeah.
record, because at that point, I mean, it's all just a ton. I mean, everything is ones and zeros at the end of the day, but
But it didn't used to be.
yeah. And
You used to have a band walk into a recording studio with their guitar, with their bass, with their drumsticks, and they had to sit there and they had to lay down a real track of them performing the music, and that was what was produced.
And it's funny to see a lot of some of the older music, because you'll get some of the song. I forget what the song is, where they like basically start the recording and they're just kind of like getting stuff together, and it's
you can
in
hear
the
it.
recording.
Drumsticks clicking and
Yeah.
the guitar just. I'm a little out of tune. You hear them tuning it.
It's funny because
But
I
it's real.
just saw the Reese Brothers, as we discussed.
Yeah.
And at their merch table, they had their new album, which doesn't come out technically until the 24th.
Yeah.
I say quotes because they had vinyl copies sealed and ready to go on the table that you could purchase.
Yeah.
So at the time when I first got there, they said they didn't have any posters for sale. So I said, well, let me grab one of the vinyls then, because it's $30 and it's worth it to me to have
Yeah.
something physical. And what's funny is after the fact, they had taken some of the posters down off the walls, I guess, because mine has pinholes in it, and they had them on the table. And she's like, yeah, just take one. It's like, okay.
Don't mind if I do.
I will take one of those.
Yep.
Got them to sign both. And so, I mean, am I ever going to play that vinyl disc on a record player? Probably not. We have, I think, like 2 record players at our house. I could very well take it out of the thing and pop it on, play it, and I would hear the Reese Brothers coming through the speakers on the record player. Will I? Probably not, because it's going to be just a showpiece on my wall. Yeah. However, like you, I miss already having a book of CDs where you would just flip through, find one. And I think
driving down the road,
I think part of why a lot of the younger generations are not going to care as much like we do about the physical aspect of discs versus files is because
they didn't grow up with it.
That and attention spans.
Oh my goodness.
You how many artists today release a truly no skip album? Doesn't happen that often because...
Well, if you ask most people, they'll say Taylor Swift. Potato.
Yes. So, and I myself am guilty of this because I'll be listening to an artist and I'll hear a song and I'm kind of like, this is not really my favorite.
Yeah.
And it's all on my phone. It's all on... I use Apple Music, so sue me. But... And the only reason I have to use Apple Music is because my car doesn't have a
CD player.
I think mine was the... So, for those who don't know, I drive a Focus ST. It's a 2018. And I have the lowest package you can get on it. But mine doesn't even have the little slot for a disc. I thought it was going to.
I had a 2013, and I did have the slot for a disc.
Right, so I wonder when they officially took that out. Because I could have swore that all STs had disc capabilities, but when I got mine, I realized I was like looking around for it. I'm like, and I had my book of CDs. I was ready to pop one in, and I was like,
and most people sit there and they're like, "Oh, well, just put it on your phone." And it's like, I get that, but what you don't understand, and if you don't have a untrained ear or really pay attention to detail, again, anything that has been digitized is compressed like crazy, and you miss out on so much of the music. There are songs that I have listened to on a digital copy, and then I have a physical copy, and when you put that into an actual stereo with speakers, you hear notes that you don't hear in the digital. Like, it literally will chop out certain notes that you miss, and it sounds completely different through a stereo system with a physical copy.
Which I think this is one reason why I feel like concerts are starting to get kind of a resurgence of sorts, because you find really quickly who is a really good musician and who is just blowing smoke, and and
take the theatrics out of it too, because a lot of these artists, not saying any names, Taylor Swift, they just get up there and they put on a theatrical show. Oh, let me change my costume 15 times in the middle of the show, Lady Gaga, and let me just have all these special effects and videos going up on the wall behind me and everything. And it's like you're masking the fact that you're not on the same level as a lot of these other true musicians.
Okay, let me give you an example, and I'm only going to use the Reese Brothers again because it's who I literally
it's fresh in your mind.
Just saw.
Yeah,
it's 2 people, literally they're brothers. And now I'm drawing a blank. Casey and Kevin. Casey? I hope it's Casey. If it's not, I'm gonna feel so bad because I just. Anyways, so one sings and plays guitar and a handful of other instruments here and there, and then the other drums, sings, and plays a keyboard bass.
Yeah.
So he's doing this, and singing, and I'm like,
Yeah.
where did that kind of musicianship go? I mean, for real, like that was.
That's the
it blew my
difference.
mind
Yeah.
because I was wondering because I've listened to their music now for months, and I was like, it's two people. Surely they're gonna have a house band or like some sort of friend playing something behind the scenes. Nope, it was just the two of them, and they were killing it, and they sounded amazing live. So, you know,
And to be fair, I don't know if video games and movies lose certain qualities going to a digital copy. I'm not sure.
yeah.
That's beyond my level of expertise. But I do know that music most definitely does.
Well, and if music does, you have to believe that to some degree,
Yeah.
you know, the audio is going to suffer a little bit.
Yeah.
Now, you know, and I'm kind of in a unique position. So when I was in my early 20s, I worked at a loudspeaker manufacturer, and our demo room was it was better than any movie theater you would ever go
Oh,
to,
yeah.
IMAX included. And I got to hear. So I watched our demo room. It was like a 12 point something surround sound basically, and I got to hear the original Transformers movie. We'll watch it, and there's a point where I forgot who it is. It's like maybe it's Optimus, but he like shoots a thing at the ground, hops over a woman screaming, and it's all slow motion.
Yes.
And there's like a low end pass that just rattles the room, and it was
Yes.
amazing.
That's awesome.
So, and I know you're the same like me. You hear the fine details
Yeah.
and things, and so we've kind of got off on a tangent. We kind of went into music when we started talking about video games.
We'll go back to the games too, because I got something else I want to touch
But
on.
in a roundabout way, it's so you're losing something.
Yeah. And I also feel like video games are destroying themselves. And maybe this is a longer conversation, but I really feel like the whole online gaming thing has really brought things down in a very negative way. Not just because people are just vile and ruthless online because they can get away with it.
Yeah.
But also it's like, do you remember how much fun it was when we would sit there and just pop Need for Speed into the PlayStation and just battle each other and go arcade mode and just racing all over the place, and then you could pop in Sonic the Hedgehog and you could just play that, and it was just so simple and fun.
I can't remember the last time I played the actual like story mode of like Call of Duty or anything like that. Now,
Because it's all online.
Now, granted, with Grand Theft Auto 5 and 4 and all the subsequent ones, well, 5 mostly because it's got the biggest online presence. But I actually did play the game all the way through, and I intend to do that with Grand Theft Auto 6. So the online aspect does give it some replayability in that aspect. But yes, I think that we are losing creative games and story modes
Yeah.
in lieu of just playing online.
Yeah, because I mean, anyone who's ever played one of these games online, I've been called things by a 12-year-old that I wouldn't call my worst enemy.
Game lobbies when we were...
It's horrible.
Well, and they've gotten a little bit better, but game lobbies when we were younger, they were ruthless.
See, I never played the online games when we were
There were
younger.
things that were said that I might land you in jail these days.
Yeah.
But and I want to hit one more thing because we're getting kind of close to time here. I want to hit one more thing about physical discs being gone. Is one thing that I miss the most about games back then was special editions were truly special editions. I don't remember which Call of Duty it was. There's two of them. One of them, the special edition, gave you night vision goggles as part of the pack. Another one gave you, because it was when they introduced the explosive remote control car in the game, so they gave you a remote control car that looked just like the one in the game, and it was an actual remote control car.
Oh, wow.
You don't get that stuff anymore.
No.
You get skins, you get extra, maybe a car or something, you maybe get a weapon, but like you don't get like physical cool stuff anymore. And that's kind of a bummer.
And then they keep making you download it. There's always updates that you have to do. And it's like, if you come home from work and you're like, hey, the family's out, I'm going to hop on and play a game for, 15, 20 minutes with my buddies.
You got
and then
3 hours of upload.
Yeah, you
or
have
updates.
a massive update that needs to be done. Congratulations, you're not playing. Like, you're not playing at all tonight. So
The game
just
makers
go
are
do
like, they're like, go potato yourself.
You're just a stupid potato, and you can potato off. But it ruins it, because it's like, before you would buy a game, it's complete. They're not adding anything on. They're not sitting there saying, oh, you got to run an update for this. This thing keeps crashing, so we got to fix that. You bought the game. The game was complete, beginning to end. That was it. And then in a couple of years, they came out with another one, and it was complete. Now it's like they'll rush to knock out the first draft version that they've got. People will spend a ton of money on it. It's garbage at first, and then they have to keep doing these updates to make it better and better and better, or fix it to make it tolerable, I should say. And it's just a pain in the butt.
Do the right thing, Sony. You have time.
Yeah, they're not going to listen to us.
They're not.
But
We're just
you
two
know what?
morons in a
That just makes them a bunch
podcast.
of potatoes.
Yep.
So that's all the time we've got for today. Thank you guys. Stay tuned for the next episode, and have a good one.